Hi there, and welcome to Transcona Trailer Sales. Today I'm going to be walking you through your 2014 Gulfstream Serenity 199Rb. We are going to start off at the back of the unit. If you notice on your right, you do have your hot water heater, access port. This is just going to be mainly for firing up and draining. You got a big drain bolt right down there at the bottom. I do believe it's an 1.1" socket to get that off. Whenever you first get to your campsite, you're always going to want to hit that pressure relief valve. There should be a shot of water coming out of there, letting you know that the tank's full before you ever fire it up. Right now we do have the tank drained and winterized because it is winter time here, so it wouldn't be safe to fire up. I'm going to go over a reset procedure inside when going over firing on propane. The button I'm going to refer to is just right here. I do believe this one only fires on propane. Around the left side of the unit, you got your main power cord supply. It's just a standard 30 amp plug-in. Most campsites should have this and you can plug right on in. But let's say you're at home and you want to run the fridge, or your campsite only has 15 amp service, we do include that 15 amp park adapter. Just keep in mind when you're going down to 15 amps of power, you're not going to be running anything like your air conditioner. It's really just to run your lights in your fridge. In this corner, as well as all four corners of the unit, you got your drive nut here. This is for your stabilizer jacks. You're going to run these down to the ground once you get to your campsite, and it's just going to take any bouncer sway you see we have in the unit right now away. Inside here, this is typically where we're going to store your sewer hose. We currently have the sewer hose located in the front compartment, which I will show you in a minute, but that's where we typically store them, just to try and keep some of the smell out of the unit. You got your utility shower here. Runs off your 751 key, which should come included with your unit. You just gotta stick that key in there, give it a twist, and it'll pop on down. It gives you access to hot and cold water with a extendable swivel shower head. Just sticking that hose back in there and sucking that up to close it up. Right down from there, you got your main sewer outlet. You're just taking that and twisting this off, and you got those two ears. Those are the same two ears your sewer hose are gonna have. They just line up with these notches here and lock into place. You got your black valve and your gray valve. You're always gonna wanna empty your black valve first. It's gonna be your dirtiest water filled from your toilets. And then you can come behind that with your gray valve, which is typically a little cleaner water filled from your sinks and your showers. You got two low point drains right here, so if you're ever servicing any of the taps, or you don't want the water going stale or stagnant inside the lines because you're leaving it for a while, you can crack these guys off and it'll drain all the water inside the lines. A little further ahead, you got your city water connection. So if you're at a site with service, you just thread a guard nose in here, turn it on, and that pressurizes all the lines without the needing to run your water pump. Around the front of the unit, you got your battery box located right in the front here. And then underneath this cover, you got two propane tanks. Most of the time you can access them just by twisting these knobs and opening up this flap. It gives you access to them, but for the purpose of the video, I will just show you. Just slide this right off for if it comes time that you need to get them refilled. You got two tanks. This little valve here, there is an arrow on the front of the valve. With the arrow pointed this way, you're gonna draw off this tank, and then you can turn it to draw off that tank just by turning it. And then to turn that propane tank on, you're just opening it counterclockwise, just like a barbecue. Opening it up all the way, opens up the flow of propane to the unit. Around this side of the unit, inside this front compartment, is just where you're gonna find that sewer hose, as well as that 15 amp park adapter. All comes in this little starter kit here. And it also comes with a 15-foot water hose. You got some other things in here. This is going to be your awning, which I will show you in a second. And then you do have, this is for the stabilizer jacks, which I showed you earlier. Allows you to run those jacks up and down. It is just a 3/4 inch socket. So if you want to run a drill, just be careful because you do run the risk of bending them if you put too much torque on them. You got your awning here. Always making sure you just unlock the arms quick before you go to bring it out. And then you should just be able to grab this and pull out. course, unless it's locked in the closed mode, you just have to pull this little switch down. That'll be for open. And it will then allow you to open up that awning. You're just going to pull those down until you see that little flap coming out, like so, which sometimes it does get stuck, like you just saw there. Just got to pull it down. And then at that point, you'll be able to slide these guys up and lock these guys into place, unhook your feet from the side of the trailer here, and extend them out to wherever you'd like however you'd like your awning set up. And then of course, close it up. You're just having to make sure you unlock this, push both sides back to where they are on the side of the trailer. You're gonna hook your feet back into the side of the trailer like so, which is just a little snap hook there, and then snap it in place. Now, being careful whenever you roll it in, you might want to roll this strap. It just slides on its track closer to this knob, because as soon as you flick this, it's going to want to start rolling up. So just be mindful of that and have a hand on it. But you see, just let it go like so. You start tracking back to the trailer. I just like to do it slowly by hand at first, and then you can hook your tool in there once you can't reach it anymore. And then I'll contact the side of the trailer. And then just locking this back in place, and you're all closed up again. Right here, you're gonna notice this port. This is just a fridge service port. There's not much you're gonna have to worry about there. You got your furnace exhaust, so whenever your furnace is running, this is gonna be blowing out hot air. You got two 110 plugins, and then this right here is gonna be your fresh water fill. So if you at a site without water, you can fill your fresh tank. It's going to hold inside there, and then right down below that is the drain for it. It's just this little valve, so you'd have to twist it. It's currently empty, so nothing's coming out, but then that's would be how you drain it. Then of course closing it when you go to fill it again. You got your stairs. Sorry, one thing I forgot. Whenever you get to your campsite, we typically leave these closed because it stops excess dust from getting inside through the range hood. You just open those guys, the flap becomes open, which will then allow, I'll have to see why that came off, which will then allow air to circulate out, and then whenever you're traveling, just snapping it back into place. That way, no dust gets inside. Get your stairs, pull straight ahead of you, then the last one goes down, and then you can step on inside. First thing you notice off on your right is just gonna be that fire extinguisher, just like home. Pull the pin and shoot. You got two light switches on the wall. One's gonna do this little entry light here. The other one's gonna do the porch light behind our cameraman here. And then you got your awning switch, or your slide out switch. Pushing and holding out, that slide out's gonna start making its way out. You're gonna know that slide out's fully extended when you hear the whines and the clicking of the motor. Don't hold it for too much longer because you're just putting more strain on everything. There you go, you heard those clicks and you're fully extended. All the rest of the lights in the unit are on their own center push buttons. You do have a few throughout, as well as one on the range hood and a fan. That's how you turn that on. You got your sink with hot and cold water. Down below, storage. You're gonna notice there's a little trap door here that's screwed shut. If you take these 4 screws out, that's gonna give you access to your hot water heater for those bypass valves for winterization. And then speaking of that, to get to your water pump, you can just flip up the bed here, which does give you access into your front storage area. And then located right underneath that bunk there, you're gonna see that pump, and that's where you get access to that for winterization. They also left their bypass hose and everything for you. Sink with hot and cold water. You got your propane stove. Whenever you're using this, just be mindful it's propane, so it does burn off fumes. You got your LP detector right here near the ground. Propane's heavier than air. If that guy ever starts going off, don't panic. Just close off the main flow of propane to the unit. Open up some windows and turn on those vent fans just to ventilate it out a little bit. When it comes to lighting it, sometimes it can take a few minutes when you first go to light it, just because when you turn off propane, it allows air into the lines. So just be patient with it, let it prime for a second, and then just hit it with a lighter and it fires right on up. Whenever you are running this, it helps to run your range hood. That way you're evacuating even more of those fumes. And then to get the stove going, you're just pushing it over to pilot, push and hold the knob in, take your lighter, hold it over the little gas orifice, and that starts that pilot. The oven does take a lot longer sometimes to start. It can take a few minutes sometimes, so just be mindful of that. I had the system running earlier, that's why it was so quick. And then just turn it up to your desired temperature and it fires right on up. And then you can turn that off. This is going to be the main outlet for your furnace. It's going to blow all its air out of here. So if you want to get a fan to blow it around, it might be a good idea. The control for it is just this thermostat on the wall here. With this all the way to the left, you're on off. If you were to slide it all the way to the right, it's going to be as hottest setting, and anywhere in between is just another adjustable setting. And then just pulling it all the way to off turns it off. Right up from there, you got your monitor panel system, as well as your water pump switch. Turning that on draws from your fresh tank. And then of course you got your gray, your black, your fresh, and your battery level as well. So you're currently C for charging, and then the tanks go empty, a third, 2/3, and then full. All the blinds in the unit do kind of work the same way. They're all just your typical household style blinds. You pull it one way to let them down. Pull them one way to let them down, and then you'll have to pull them the other way to lock it into place. And then of course, since it's an RV, if you're rolling down the road, you don't want your blinds swinging everywhere. You got locks on either side just to lock it into place. That way it doesn't go anywhere, cause any more damage. To turn your hot water heater on, it is just this switch on the wall. Turning that on, this reset light's gonna come on. The water heater's gonna try lighting itself 3 times. If on the 3rd try it doesn't light, this light's gonna stay on. In that case, you do have to turn the switch off. Go hit that reset button I showed you earlier, and then try turning it back on. It'll try relighting itself. You got your stereo, which is pretty much just like home. Unfortunately, you can't control the zones on this one. You can do it through fade. So if you adjust the fade, you could turn off the outside speakers and just leave the inside speakers on. Inside here, just a binder with some your manuals and stuff for the unit, the plug-in for the microwave, and then just some other information. Over here, you got your fridge. It's going to be a propane and 12 volt. So turning it on with it pressed in like so, it's going to be on auto. So it's going to first search for shore power. Once shore power is taken away, it'll automatically switch over to gas. If you want it to solely run on gas because you're out boondocking, you can just depress that button and it'll slowly run off gas. If this check light ever comes on, it's probably because the gas didn't light for whatever reason, so you'd have to just try turning it off and then back on again to try restarting it. Freezer, fridge, and the temperature control for the fridge is just this little white fin. The further you slide this up the fin, the cooler it's gonna get, or the further you have it down, the warmer it's gonna get. And then you got your little bedroom area. Not much I'm going to show you there, except you do have your antenna on the roof. So you just have to turn that like so to get it to go up. And then you can adjust the position by pulling down on this and turning it either way. Just always making sure you have the 2 arrows lined up like so when you go to travel again, and you make sure you bring that back down. You got your fire exit. Pretty simple. You're just going to take this, pull this, the screen pops right out of place like you just see. Usually pops right out of place, and then you can just take your handle, pull it out of that latch, push it, and you can hop right on out. And the screen does just pop back into place with these metal tabs in the back. Dinette area, like a table like you see now. If you'd want to turn it into a bed because you had guests over or kids, you could fold these table legs in, sit the table top on these ledges, and then you take your back cushions to fill in the center. You have yourself another bed. The light on the dinette is just on its own center push button. The AC controls are just on the other side here. You're gonna have a temperature control setting you're gonna see on this side where it says blue and red. This one doesn't have the heat pump hooked up, so it's only an air conditioner or a fan. If you turn it on to low fan, that's low fan speed, just moving air around, no air conditioning involved. The second low fan setting, and then you get high fan, which is just high fan speed, no air conditioning. Then you get to low cool and high cool, and that's when the air conditioning takes into effect. Not much else I have to show you there. And then last but not least, you step into the bathroom, light switch on the left, sink, medicine cabinet up top, right above your head. You do have one of these nice little fans. You open that up, hit that button, turn on that fan. You're gonna see you're open straight into the atmosphere if you look straight up. We do sell max air covers if you'd like to run this whenever you're traveling or it's raining. If you'd like to get set up with that, you can contact your parts department. They can get you a quote put together. And then on the wall here, you got your main GFI plug. Most of the plugs inside this unit are all hooked up to GFI. So if you ever have a plug that doesn't work, this would be the first place I'd look. You got test on the back, reset on the test on the right, reset on the left. The green light's letting you know that you have a successful circuit. And that's going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.